The day my family went bankrupt. A powerful socialite from Washington, D.C., contacted me. She promised that if I married her, she would protect my family from any harm. I agreed. After the wedding, I received an anonymous text message. The message claimed that my family's bankruptcy was orchestrated by my Washington, D.C., socialite wife. I completely believed the message. Every day, I argued for a divorce and planned to run away with my long-lost love. When she found out I was about to elope with my true love, she was furious and confronted me. Ultimately, she ended up pregnant with my child. I was determined to ask her to abort the baby until that proud socialite, with tear-filled eyes, knelt before me and begged me to keep the child. I agreed, but on the condition that I be allowed to leave. 5 years later, when I discovered the truth, I was stunned. It turned out I had been hating the wrong person. So, I rushed back to the country. It was midnight when I got off the plane. I dragged 2 large suitcases, gazing at the luxurious mansion before me. I went to the door and entered the code. For the past 5 years, Amelia Stone's password had always been our wedding anniversary. It had never changed. The door slowly opened, revealing only darkness. I was a little surprised. I hadn't expected Amelia to be so dramatic. Unable to figure it out, I went straight to the study. Amelia frowned at me and coldly said, "Why didn't you knock?" I was stunned, taken aback by Amelia's coldness. It had been a long time since I had seen Amelia so serious. Before, Amelia had always been reserved and humble in front of me. This infuriated me. Without a second thought, I turned around and slammed the door shut. I had only taken a few steps when, as if guided by unseen eyes, I returned to the study door. Staring at the door, I grew angrier and angrier. How could Amelia be so harsh with me? I couldn't bear it. After a moment's thought, I pushed the study door open and stormed in. Amelia watched me slam the door on my way out, her heart aching beyond words. She really didn't know how to make me stay. She wanted to act like nothing had ever happened. But she couldn't. Until she saw me come back again, surprise lit up in Amelia's eyes. She watched me march angrily towards her, frozen. "What do you think you're doing? Why are you so angry?" "I'm back to be with our daughter. To cook for you, to drive you to the office. Isn't that enough? What did I do wrong that you're so angry?" I shouted. Amelia was silent for a long time. "Did you see Lily Evans this afternoon?" Listening closely, I could hear a hint of sadness in her voice. Hearing this, I was dumbfounded. "Is it just because of that? You even held her hand?" Amelia said, her sadness growing. "Held hands? Who told you that?" Amelia pulled out several photos for me to see. I frowned as I looked at them, then sighed. I put the phone down, walked over, and took Amelia's hand. "You're so smart. Don't tell me you can't tell that these pictures were taken from a misleading angle." I did see Lily Evans, but we didn't say anything. I only shook her hand. "We've let go of the past." Amelia looked into my eyes and softly asked, "Really?" I nodded seriously. "I know that you don't believe me right now, but can we take it slow and gradually develop our feelings?" Amelia immediately became like a lion that had been petted. She threw herself into my chest and mumbled, "Okay. Are you still mad at me?" Amelia said, burying her face in my chest. I chuckled, pretending to be serious. "Yes." Amelia looked up, her eyes filled with unconcealable panic. "Then what can I do to make you not be angry? Or you can hit me." With that, she took my hand and slapped herself. Hey, hey, hey. There's no need for that. I don't want a violent household." I took Amelia's hand again. "I won't tell you what to do, going to see her was my fault, but you have to trust me, okay?" Amelia silently nodded. I stroked Amelia's hair. Suddenly, my eyes caught sight of the phone on the desk. I noticed an email account. And it was the same account that had sent me the anonymous email before. I slightly narrowed my eyes. Oh, right. Can you find out who sent the email? This email is the same account that told me that the Stone Group's bankruptcy was related to you 5 years ago. Amelia's eyes dangerously narrowed. I received one, too. I always thought the Stone Group was because of you, precisely because of that email. Amelia thought for a moment and nodded. I'll have Jake investigate it tomorrow. It's late. Let's take a shower and go to bed. Okay. I lightly kissed the corner of Amelia's mouth. Even I didn't realize that I was becoming more and more dependent on Amelia and wanted more and more physical contact with her. Whenever I saw her, I wanted to kiss, hug, and hold her close. The next morning, I woke up early because I had to take little Annie to school today. After getting up and washing my face, I went to the kitchen to make breakfast. As I was frying eggs, Amelia suddenly hugged me from behind. Her hot breath tickled my neck. I felt ticklish and quickly pushed her away, saying, "Go sit at the table. I'll finish frying the egg, and then we can eat." Amelia's voice was still hoarse from just waking up. "Let's go out together after you're done." Just then, Annie's childish voice rang out outside the door. "Daddy, Mommy, so embarrassing." I suddenly felt my face flush. Being caught being intimate by my daughter was beyond embarrassing. I hurriedly removed her hands. "Let's go out. Annie has seen us." "I'm almost done." "Oh, then kiss me," Amelia said, bringing her face closer. I had no choice but to lean down and kiss her. As soon as I got close, Amelia turned her face away. Instantly, our lips met. Before I could say anything, Amelia held my head and gave me a wet French kiss. As a result, unsurprisingly, the egg burned. At breakfast, Amelia scooped the burned egg into her bowl. Although it was burned, Amelia ate it with relish. After breakfast, Amelia went to work, and I took Annie to kindergarten. Near noon, I unexpectedly received a call from my childhood best friend, Charlie Evans. Charlie had previously believed that the Stone Group's incident was not Amelia's doing, so he had looked for me. After hearing it, I didn't care. I felt that Charlie was not on my side and must have colluded with Amelia. So, I gradually stopped paying attention to him. I answered the phone and hastily said, "Charlie." On the other end of the line, Charlie was stunned. He took out his phone, confirmed that the caller was me, and said, "Are you okay, Dave?" Hearing this, he froze. Coldly said, "Why are you calling me?" It wasn't until this moment that Charlie recognized the normal me. "I heard you're back in the country?" "Yeah, I just got back a few days ago." "Good friend. I missed you a lot. Let's meet up." Although the words seemed insincere, they were true words from the bottom of my heart. The other end of the phone hesitated for a moment and said, "Okay." Soon, I arrived at Charlie's bar. This bar was opened by him, a dream from his student days, to open a bar and be his own boss. As soon as I entered, I saw Charlie sitting on a bar stool drinking. I immediately ran over and put my arm around his shoulder. Charlie was startled. "What's wrong with you? Why are you so strange today?" "I'm sorry. I misunderstood you before. The Stone Group's incident really wasn't Amelia's doing. I've misunderstood her for so many years. And because of my stupidity, our friendship has become so distant." Hearing this, Charlie was a little surprised and then said smugly, "You really found out?" "I told you. She loves you so much." "How could she do that?" "So, what are you going to do now? What about your children? Are you still getting a divorce?" Charlie threw out a series of questions. I firmly said, "No divorce. She's beautiful and rich, so I have nothing to lose. I always feel very sorry for her and just want to make it up to her." "So, you're with her now to make it up to her rather than for love?" "I could say that, but I don't think it's entirely true. Because I'm very happy when I'm with her." Charlie was silent for a moment. "Then you have to think about it carefully. It will be very troublesome without love." "I understand." I stayed at the bar with Charlie for a long time before leaving. Seeing that it was still early, I went to the shopping mall. I planned to choose a gift for Amelia. Then I went to an LC counter. I asked the staff to recommend and bought this season's limited edition for $420,000. I thought this was very suitable for her. Although she lacks nothing, I still wanted to choose it carefully. Try to bring her the best. After buying things, I went to pick up Annie. As soon as I got home, the sound of a car engine rang out in the yard. Soon after, Amelia stepped in. The afterglow of the sunset shone on her beautiful face, making her more charming. I stared at her blankly until Amelia came in front of me. A cold voice rang out in my ears. "What are you looking at? Are you fascinated?" I woke up immediately and felt embarrassed. My eyes looked away, stuttering, "No, it's nothing. The weather is so nice today, ha ha ha." Amelia turned her head and looked at the sky outside. "It will be completely dark soon." Her eyes smiled at me, made me feel even more embarrassed. Laughed a little and said, "I'll go see if Sister Chen is done with dinner." With that, I ran away. At dinner, I didn't dare to raise my head and look directly at Amelia, while Amelia was always putting food in my bowl. Since she found out that I no longer rejected her, Amelia was like a food-picking machine without emotion. "You have to." I didn't stop until my bowl was as high as a mountain. After dinner, Amelia went to the study. I took Annie upstairs to paint. Annie drew a rabbit. The vegetable garden and the road are very beautiful. The colors on the paintings are very harmonious. Because I am a jewelry designer, I am very sensitive to color matching. The more I look at Annie's paintings, the more I like them. When Annie went to take a bath, I was going to take the painting and show it to Amelia. Unexpectedly, I accidentally dropped a book next to it. A few photos fell out of it. I picked it up and looked at it. Felt very familiar. They are all moments of our family of 3 being together. Memories flooded back immediately. I paused when I took out the first photo. This is a family photo of the 3 of us, sitting together eating at the table. I remember that time I just came back after going abroad. Is one of the rare times to return home every year. I rarely eat with Amelia and Annie, so the impression is very deep. The scene in the photo looks very warm. Harmonious relationship. But I know that's because I have to rush to catch the plane. I was really too hungry, so I decided to eat a little at home. The second photo is at the door of the kindergarten. I was leading Annie across the street. Annie looked at me with bright eyes. I also remember this photo clearly. That day was Annie's birthday. She wanted me to pick her up after school. I agreed. This is also the first time I have picked her up in 3 years. These photos are all taken in a hurry. The picture quality is blurry. It looks like Annie used a cell phone to take the picture. There are many more photos below. I flipped through each one. The sound of water in the bathroom stopped. I didn't know that I had been unwittingly tearing up. Quickly put the photos back in their original place. I was afraid that Annie would notice something unusual. Then I went to the corridor. Calmed down a little. Washed my face with cold water. Then, I went upstairs with a glass of milk. Entered Annie's bedroom. At this time, Annie was about to go out and find me. Seeing me bring milk back, eyes were still red. Immediately ran over and hugged me. "Dad. What's wrong? Why are your eyes so red? Did Dad cry?" I smiled and said, "No way. Baby, I just got something in my eyes." She was still dubious, but she still took the milk and drank it all in one breath. After coaxing Annie to sleep, I went to the study to find Amelia. When she saw me, Amelia stood up. Was about to walk towards me. I immediately ran over and hugged her tightly. My throat was choked. Every time I breathed, it felt like tears were about to come out. In the end, only heavy breathing remained. Amelia didn't have time to react. Heard my heavy breathing. She asked in a panic. What's wrong, Dave? What happened? Hearing this, I tried to calm down. Only then did I slowly speak. I used to always pick on you and didn't even care about Annie. Just now, I saw the photos that Annie took secretly. They are photos of our family of 3 together. Even the photo of me picking her up after school. Was I too much before? After hearing this, Amelia also felt sad. Although she raised Annie, doesn't lack anything for her. Whatever you want can be had. But the time spent with her is extremely limited. Amelia had never seen these photos either. Aren't you back? In the future, we will spend more time with Annie together. After I calmed down, Amelia didn't work anymore. Took my hand and pulled me back to the bedroom. On the bed in the bedroom, Amelia looked at me with adoring eyes. For her, every happy day with me is a gift. She really loves me so much. Amelia looked at me for a while and couldn't help but kiss me. Then, her lips gradually moved down. The kiss continued. In a daze, I suddenly thought of something. Said intermittently. Regarding the email I asked you to investigate. How's the investigation going? Amelia didn't want to pay attention to me at first. But she was afraid that I would be angry. She took some time to respond. Still investigating. Give me some time. After that, Amelia didn't give me a chance to say anything more. One night of intoxication. I was so tired that I didn't want to say a word. I said last time that I wouldn't let her touch me again. But this time I was fascinated by her beauty. Every time I get so tired that I can't breathe. I thought to myself. The next time, if I touch her again, I will be a dog. The next morning, the alarm clock rang. Amelia raised her hand. Turn off the alarm for me. She wanted me to sleep a little longer. But just when she leaned down, he saw me hugging her slender waist. What time is it? My voice was still a little sleepy. Amelia answered me in a hoarse voice. 7:30. There's still time. You can sleep a little longer. I can't sleep anymore. I tried to open my eyes. I still have to take Annie to school. I can't say I won't do it anymore. I stood up. Amelia looked at my resolute expression, knowing that she couldn't change me either. So I just kissed my lips lightly. I'll go with you. After getting up, we 3 had breakfast together. Take Annie to school together. Along the way, Annie was extremely happy. This is the first time that her parents have taken her to school together. When I arrived at the school gate, Annie saw her friends and greeted them. My parents came to take me to school together. Her innocent and cute scene made me laugh. After taking Annie to school, Amelia took me home to sleep more. When she got out of the car, she pulled me back. Kissed me deeply before letting go. I covered my mouth because my lips were swollen from the kiss. Quickly went home. Amelia watched my figure worriedly. My heart felt so soft. Arrived home. I finally managed to fall asleep, but my phone rang. It was my manager, Frank Miller, calling. Annoyed, I answered, hoping it was important. I just got the notification. There's a show next week, featuring jewelry designs that you made. It's what you've always wanted, a step up to increase your reputation. Don't pass on this opportunity, Frank added. Completely awake and surprised, I shot out of bed. Why me though? I thought they had someone else? During the final confirmation phase, it turns out one of the designs was plagiarized. America rescinded the set and their submission. They saw your design and felt that it fit with their ideal. That's why they contacted us, to have you do the show. I haven't prepared anything though. I told you I wouldn't accept any jobs these last few months. Frank was close to yelling at me over the phone. I know. But, this performance is too important. You've waited years for this opportunity, Dave. Prepare your luggage and head to the airport, and you'll be just in time for tomorrow night's show. The other activities weren't mandatory, he told me, so I'd just have to participate in the show. Hesitating for a moment, I agreed. Afterwards, I jumped out of bed and started packing. Only bringing a few changes of clothes, I dragged my suitcase and rushed to the airport. Frank had booked me a flight leaving in 2 hours. On the way, I was constantly calling Amelia, but no one picked up. I felt incredibly worried. Once I boarded the plane, I would have to turn off my phone. So, she wouldn't be able to contact me. Amelia would definitely worry. At that moment, Amelia was sitting in a board meeting. This quarter's revenue was at a record low. The entire room was silent, as the leaders didn't dare to breathe too loudly. Amelia's phone had been put on silent and handed to her assistant, Jake. As I was going through security and boarding, I still couldn't get through to Amelia. I didn't have Jake's phone number either, so I didn't know how to contact him. I'd be back from the exhibition in just over a day. Still, I couldn't help but worry that Amelia wouldn't be able to find me and would start thinking irrationally. I already sent her a text message. I'm just not sure whether she believes it. Amelia lacks a sense of security. I just hope I don't accidentally ruin all the trust that I've struggled to build. 3 hours later, Amelia finally got her phone. Jake walked over and carefully said, "Ma'am, your husband called. 12 missed calls." Hearing this, Amelia hurriedly snatched the phone. Her eyes were like knives as she glared at Jake. "If there are any more mistakes, pack your bags and leave." With that, Amelia anxiously called me back. But my phone had already been switched off. She looked at her phone, her eyes gradually dimming. Just as she was about to continue calling, she noticed a WeChat message. It said, "I have some important work in France. I had to leave suddenly, without telling you. Sorry about that. I couldn't reach you by phone. I'll land at 12 noon tomorrow, and I'll call to explain as soon as I'm able. Oh, and don't forget to pick Annie up from school. Tell her that I'll be back in 3 days and will buy her a gift." Finally, a heart emoji was attached. But Amelia didn't feel relieved at all. It felt like she had been doused with a bucket of cold water. Her heart ached, and she thought to herself, so, this is finally happening. How long have we been together? Does Dave ultimately think that I'm not good enough and doesn't need me anymore? In the end, he chose to leave me. Jake stood beside her, noticing that Amelia's expression was getting worse and worse, and hurriedly called out, Ma'am, what's wrong?" Amelia finally came back to her senses, her red eyes looking at Jake, and she roared, "Get out." Jake's expression changed, and he quickly left. He bitterly thought, "It's probably that darn husband again. Every time it's something related to him, the boss loses her composure. I don't know what kind of spell that man has cast on the boss." Amelia sat in the meeting room all day long. In the meantime, she sent a message to the driver, asking him to pick Annie up. She sat there until 9 p.m. Amelia moved her numb legs, adjusted her mood, and then went home. It was already past 10 p.m. when she got there. She went to Annie's room to check on her. Annie was already sound asleep, clutching the snow-white doll that I had bought her. Amelia quietly entered and stood in front of the bed, looking at Annie with gentle eyes. Annie looked very much like me, and every time she opened her eyes and looked at her mother, Amelia always felt like she was looking at me. That's why she loved Annie so much. She looked at her for a long time, then gently stroked Annie's head and went out. Back in her bedroom, Amelia took a shower and lay on the bed, inhaling the faint scent of cologne still lingering from me. She lay on my side, burying her head deeply in my pillow, thinking to herself, "Dave, don't lie to me. Please don't lie to me again. I can't take it anymore." As she thought of this, the pillow was already soaked with tears. She couldn't sleep all night, tossing and turning. The next morning, Amelia came out for breakfast with a tired expression. Annie saw it and exclaimed in a naive voice, "Mom, didn't you sleep well last night? The dark circles under your eyes are about to fall out." Amelia gently stroked Annie's head and said kindly, "There was a little work at the company yesterday, so Mom worked a little late and didn't sleep well. Let's have breakfast. Mom will take you to school after you're done." Annie obediently nodded and then asked, "Where's Dad? Didn't Dad come back last night?" Amelia's eyes darkened slightly, and her lips twitched a little. "Dad went on a business trip. He told you to be good at home and not be naughty, and when he gets back, he'll buy you toys." Annie's eyes lit up. "Really? That's great. I will definitely be good and listen to Mom." Amelia looked at Annie's happy face and gave a bitter smile. "I don't even know if it's true. I can only stay at home with you and wait obediently for Dad to come back. Other than that, I don't know what to do." After taking Annie to school, Amelia didn't go to the company but went straight to the bar. After drinking 2 bottles of wine, her best friend, Jane Smith, rushed over. The bar was owned by Jane's family. When Jane saw Amelia, she exclaimed happily, "A special guest. I always call you to come, but you never do. Drinking alone at dawn. I wouldn't have known if the manager hadn't told me." Amelia coldly glanced at her, not saying anything. Jane acted as if she didn't see it and continued, "What's wrong? Tell me. Why did you come here to drown your sorrows?" Amelia drank her wine, seemingly treating Jane as if she were air. "Let me guess, it's because of the man in your life, right?" Amelia looked at her without saying a word. Jane raised her eyebrows and said happily, "Oh, is it true that I guessed right? Is it because of him?" Amelia coldly said, "You should call him brother." Jane didn't care, she flipped her hair and said, "Humph, what brother? I don't have such a brother. Abandoning his wife and children, not caring about you for 3 years. Jane took a sip of wine and continued, "I heard a few days ago that he's back in the country. Probably staying for a few days and then leaving again, right? Every time he leaves, you're like you're better off dead." "Oh, no, this time it's even more serious than before. Before you would only drink a few glasses, but this time you want to die." Jane looked at the empty wine bottles on the table. Amelia shook the wine glass in her hand, her voice hoarse as she spoke. "This time he's come back and changed a lot. He's actively concerned about me and Annie. He even said he'll stay home for a few months. But last night he left without a word. He said he'll be back, but I don't know if I can believe him." When Jane heard this, she almost spat out the wine she had just drunk. She coughed a few times and immediately said, "Cough cough cough, what's wrong, girl? You believe what he says? If what he said is true, then pigs can climb trees. But I still want to believe him one more time." "He said I should trust him," Amelia said. Hearing this, Jane was completely speechless. Her eyes looked at her friend, who was blindly in love, as if she were an idiot. The two of them looked at each other, not saying anything, and drank another bottle. Amelia was worried, "Why can't I dislike him? What am I supposed to do?" Jane was thinking, how can she make Amelia give up on me, to change her tendency to love blindly? By the time Jane realized it, Amelia had already finished all the bottles of wine they had ordered. Since she hadn't eaten anything yesterday or this morning, and she had drunk too much alcohol on an empty stomach, Amelia was hugging her face in pain on the sofa, her face pale and cold sweat pouring down. Panicked, Jane immediately threw down the wine bottle and rushed to Amelia, shaking her and asking, "Amelia, what's wrong with you? Are you okay?" Amelia was in so much pain that she couldn't speak. Jane hurriedly called an ambulance and asked the manager to help take care of Amelia. After a while of struggling, Amelia passed out. She was in the hospital receiving N4 drip. Jane stood next to the hospital bed, looking at the pale Amelia, and sighed helplessly. "What do you really want?" At that moment, Amelia's phone rang. Jane looked at the screen, and the name husband was displayed. She curled her lips in contempt, looked at the weak Amelia lying on the bed, and blamed everything on me, so she didn't hesitate to turn off the phone. I kept calling, but no one answered, so I felt strange. Amelia wasn't the type to sleep in, so why wasn't she answering the phone even though it was noon? As I got into the car, On the way to the performance venue, I texted Amelia again. Amelia, what are you doing? I called many times, but no one answered. I've arrived at the venue, and if things go smoothly, I can come home tomorrow. You and Annie wait for me, okay? Jane looked at these messages, feeling extremely annoyed. You've harmed Amelia like this, but you're still so happy, she muttered. Annoyed, Jane deleted all the messages I had sent. Right then, Amelia slowly opened her eyes, looking around at the white walls. It took a while for her brain to start working again before she realized that she had drunk so much that she had to be hospitalized. She slowly turned her head and saw Jane sitting next to the bed. Jane also looked up at the same time, seeing Amelia wake up, and hurriedly asked, Amelia, do you still feel uncomfortable anywhere? I was so scared. You didn't eat anything all day, and you drank alcohol on an empty stomach. You really don't care about your life. Amelia didn't bother paying attention to her and only asked, did Dave call me? Jane remembered the calls and messages that she had deleted, feeling guilty, and said, no. That selfish man, how would he think of calling you? He's probably having fun somewhere right now. As soon as Amelia heard this, the hopeful look that had just started to appear immediately disappeared. She sneered at herself, the corners of her mouth slightly raised. Haha, as expected, Dave still abandoned me. He's just a liar. What try to love you, what will be back soon, it's all lies, and I just believed in those words. Thinking of this, Amelia tiredly closed her eyes. She said in a hoarse voice, you can go out. I'm too tired. I need to rest for a bit. Jane looked at Amelia, looking like the whole sky was about to fall. She wondered if she should tell her the truth. But she really wanted Amelia to give up on me. Find someone who was really good to her. Jane struggled fiercely in her heart for a while. Then she said, then I'll go first. I'll have Jake bring you food in the afternoon. Jane looked at Amelia, who had closed her eyes on the hospital bed. He sighed and left the ward. After the show ended that night, I, who had been so busy that I was exhausted, finally had a moment to catch my breath. I took out my phone to check it. There were no messages or calls from Amelia. I scratched my head in confusion. Since I left yesterday, Amelia had not contacted me again. An ominous feeling arose in my heart. After that, I found the manager. Asked if there were any activities that I was required to attend. Frank thought for a moment and replied. There are only a few parties left. If you really have something urgent, I can help you deal with them. Hearing this, I hurriedly said, then I'll go first. I have some things to do at home. Help me tell the organizers, okay? And also, help me book the earliest flight back home. With that, I immediately ran off. On the way to the airport, I hesitated about whether to call Amelia. But I thought about how I had called so many times and sent so many messages, and she hadn't replied. She must be angry because I left without saying goodbye. It was useless to call no matter how many times. I skipped calling. I decided to go straight home to coax her. Amelia loves me so much. It will definitely be easy to coax her. When I got off the plane, it was already 8 p.m. the next day. Without taking a minute to rest, I rushed home. With a hopeful face, I opened the door. But I found that the house was deserted. There was no one there. Only the lights were on in the dining room. I suspiciously walked in. I found that Mom was cooking corn rib soup in the kitchen. Mom was startled when she saw me suddenly return. She breathed a sigh of relief and said, Sir, you came back without making a sound. I was startled. I didn't answer Mom. Instead, I went straight to the point and asked, Mom, where are Amelia and Annie? Why is there no one at home? Mom looked at me with a confused expression. Face full of question marks. Sir, don't you know? I grew even more suspicious. What exactly is going on? Mom. She had a stomach perforation and had to be hospitalized. I heard it was because she didn't eat anything for a day. And drank a lot of wine. She passed out immediately. Fortunately, Miss Jane took her to the hospital in time. There was no one to take care of Annie. She was taken to see Grandma. Didn't she tell you? Hearing this, my heart sank. Without thinking, leaving the luggage, I ran to the hospital. I had just stepped out when Mom stopped me. "Sir, are you going to the hospital? This is the soup I cooked for her. Take it to her." Mom put the soup in a thermos. After asking for the hospital address, I immediately took a taxi to the hospital. At this time, in the ward, Amelia looked expressionlessly out the window. Jane stood beside her and looked at her. Gently opened his mouth. I said, "This, Amelia. Let's not act like the sky is about to fall. It's just a man. You've been like this these days. Eat and sleep, sleep and eat. I don't even care about the company anymore. Only saying no more than 3 sentences a day. Why are you doing this?" Amelia remained in the same position, looking out the window. Without moving, as if she didn't hear anything Jane said at all. Seeing this, Jane shook her head helplessly. Thought to himself, "Amelia has really fallen into my hands." Jane was about to tell Amelia about the message she deleted. Just then, footsteps sounded outside the window. I held the thermos. Hurriedly pushed the door open and stepped in. Amelia saw me, her eyes lit up instantly. But it was just a moment. Then her eyes darkened again. She turned her head again and continued to look out the window. Jane looked at me, first surprised. Then she raised her eyebrows, looking at Amelia's reaction. I was vaguely puzzled, frowning. Why is Amelia like this? Could it be because I left without saying goodbye? She has become so cold? I walked closer and placed the thermal container on the table, then sat down beside the bed. First, I asked Jane what had happened to her, why she hadn't eaten and drank so much. Jane glanced at Amelia and replied, "Why don't you tell him?" I pointed to myself with my finger. Jane chuckled, stood up, and said, "All right, it seems there's nothing else for me here. You two can talk it out." As she spoke, she hummed a tune and walked out of the hospital room. The atmosphere immediately tensed up, as the two of us remained alone. I figured that apologizing would always be the right thing to do, no matter what. So, I began, "Honey, I didn't intentionally leave without saying goodbye. Frank messaged me, saying that the jewelry show in France had chosen my designs. I've been waiting for this opportunity for so long. Before I left, I sent you a message." As I spoke, I observed Amelia's expression. But I couldn't read anything from it. I only saw Amelia maintaining that cold demeanor, unexpressive, and continuing to look out the window. I continued, "I truly didn't mean to. To make up for it, I promised to grant you one request, okay? Anything you want me to do." Amelia still didn't react, her eyes glued to the window, not saying a word. I tried to increase the pressure a little. "You want 2 things, 3 things?" When I mentioned 3 things, Amelia twitched slightly, slowly turning to look at me, and asked in a hoarse voice, "Anything?" "Of course. Anything. Even being a slave." Amelia nodded. "Then let me think about it for a bit." I felt like I had been pardoned and hurriedly said, "Then you can think about it slowly. Let's have some soup first." I ladled the soup out for Amelia, sitting beside her and carefully asking, "Why didn't you eat, and why did you drink so much?" Hearing this, Amelia paused for a moment, then calmly said, "I thought you had left me again and wouldn't come back." I spoke seriously, "Amelia, I said I wouldn't leave, and I won't. Do you really not trust me?" I was about to continue, "It's okay if you don't believe me now, but I'll use time to prove it." Amelia was stunned. My serious voice made her feel confused for a moment. Had I really been wrong, and I should believe him? As she thought about something, Amelia felt a little aggrieved and continued, "The messages I sent you, the calls I made to you, why didn't you reply to a single message? I was in a meeting that day. I didn't see it." "What about yesterday?" After I got off the plane, I also called and sent you messages. Were you also in a meeting? I seemed a little pushy. Seeing this, Amelia panicked and hurriedly said, "What calls?" I didn't see them. As she spoke, fearing that I wouldn't believe her, she immediately took out her phone on the table and showed me the call and message history. I looked through her call log and frowned, then took out my phone to check as well. The history showed that I had called at 12 noon yesterday. Amelia frowned and thought for a moment, remembering that she was still unconscious at that time, and the only person who could have had her phone was Jane. A bit of anger began to rise in Amelia's eyes. I saw her expression and, thinking about how Jane had taken care of her for the past 2 days, guessed a little. I couldn't help but secretly thank Jane in my heart. Amelia was still thinking of ways to punish Jane, to teach her a lesson. I watched Amelia finish the soup and then collected the thermal container. During that time, the doctor had come once, announcing that we could be discharged this afternoon and advising us on things to pay attention to. Because Amelia didn't eat on time, she had stomach problems. This time, it only hurt her stomach even more. After returning home, she must take good care of herself. I listened seriously, noting down everything. Amelia looked at me with loving eyes, thinking to herself, "That's great. Dave didn't leave me. Dave has really come back." After returning home, I went to the kitchen to learn how to make soup with Mom, planning to cook for Amelia myself. Because she lacked a sense of security too much, I wanted to use these small things to help her feel a little safer. Amelia was treated like a patient by me, not letting her do anything. She also very much enjoyed the feeling of lying in bed like this. But, thinking about how she hadn't changed clothes for 2 days in the hospital, she felt dirty because she had a clean freak habit. So, she got up and went to the closet to change. She chose a light pink pajamas, looked at herself in the mirror and was satisfied. As she was about to go back to bed, she suddenly saw a handbag in the corner of the room. She had never seen it before. Curiously, Amelia walked closer, opened the bag and found that it was a women's handbag. Her eyes instantly darkened. She clenched the bag handle so hard that it turned pale. "Is this the gift for Lily, right? Now, it has been brought back home. Did he think of Lily when he went abroad?" She restrained her anger, put the gift back in its place, but remembered what I said, that we have to trust each other. So she tried not to show her emotions, and went back to bed. Trying to force herself to restrain her anger, and her eyes slowly returned to normal. As for me, after I finished cooking with Mom, I went upstairs to call Amelia down to eat. When I opened the door, I saw her lying on the bed, her arms crossed, staring blankly at the ceiling. I didn't know why, but that scene made my heart ache. An indescribable emotion rose in my heart. I hurriedly walked closer, knelt down beside the bed, took Amelia's hand, and said softly, "The soup is ready. Let's go down and eat." Amelia remained expressionless, sat up, pulled her hand from mine, and went downstairs by herself. I looked at my empty hand, and suddenly felt sad. What's going on? Women are really creatures that change quickly. But I thought to myself that she was still a patient, so I didn't bother arguing with her. I'll deal with this after she gets better. I cheerfully ran to sit next to Amelia when we were in the dining room, and spoke as I scooped the porridge, "Quick, try it, try it. This millet porridge has been cooking for over an hour. It's very good for the stomach. And this too. I learned how to make this mushroom chicken stew from Mom. It's very nutritious. You have to eat a lot to get better." Amelia looked at me and eagerly put the food in her, feeling that it didn't seem so bad. I shouldn't be angry with me anymore. Silently eating the food in the bowl, I saw that although she didn't say anything, she was actually eating quite a lot, and my mood gradually improved. After finishing the meal, we went upstairs together. Amelia went into the bathroom, while I packed my luggage. Since returning from France, I hadn't had time to pack my luggage because I had rushed straight to the hospital. As I was putting things in the closet, I suddenly noticed a box in the corner of the room. I smacked my head. It was the gift that I had bought for Amelia before going abroad. I forgot about it at the time. To prevent forgetting it again, I decided to take it out and place it on the sofa in the living room. Waiting for Amelia to come out, give it to her. Honestly, this was the first gift that I had bought for Amelia. She would definitely be very happy. At this time, Amelia came out wearing a bathrobe, her fair figure extremely charming. I swallowed and hurriedly turned away to look somewhere else. Amelia came out, saw my wolf-like eyes, and smiled endearingly. She was delighted in her heart. It was good, at least I am not useless. At least my body still made Dave like it. To divert the attention, I hurriedly spoke. Oh, this handbag. I bought it for you when I went out. I thought it was pretty, so I bought it. You can quickly open it and see if you like it. Amelia looked at the bag on the sofa for a while, then suddenly asked, is it for me? I looked at her blankly. Yeah, if I didn't give it to you, who else would I give it to? Amelia looked into my eyes with doubt, and immediately ran over and hugged me tightly. I could feel her trembling, and I realized that she was having a strange emotion. Hugging her back, I hurriedly asked, what's wrong? Nothing. Dave, I'm just too happy. I felt even more distressed. Look at what I've done before. Just giving a gift, and it made Amelia so emotional. I broke free from her embrace, raised Amelia's face, and said, from now on, I will often give you gifts. I will also try my best to treat you well, to make up for the 5 years that we missed. What came back to me was a series of kisses from Amelia. She kissed me fiercely, without any gentleness. After a frenzied night passed, I was exhausted and drained. The next day, I slept until noon before waking up. I was in the habit of reaching out, only to feel coldness. I grumbled, opened my eyes, muttering curses to the girl who left immediately after sleeping with me. I propped myself up and sat up, my whole body aching. Leaning against the headboard, I planned to rest for a moment and then go down to wash my face. Right at this moment, Amelia pushed the door open and came in. Seeing that I was awake, she walked over quickly, knelt down by the bed, and warmed my back with her hand. I closed my eyes, enjoying her gentle service, feeling both comfortable and relaxed. The mood that I had when I just woke up without seeing her vanished. Feeling her movements, the tension in my body slowly dissipated. Amelia lightly kissed my neck, her hot breath breathing on my skin. We continued like this for a while before Amelia looked up at me, her voice unconsciously carrying a bit of coquettishness. Hug me and go wash your face. I looked at the little girl who had just eaten, her face red, soft, and glowing. Her lips were slightly pouting. Her voice still carried a hint of sweetness, her eyes were charming, and at this moment, I was all she had in her eyes. It felt like I was her whole world. I looked at her and couldn't help but feel myself heating up quickly. My throat bobbed slightly, but because we were too enthusiastic last night, I hurriedly stood up and took Amelia into the bathroom. Saying one sentence, I'll go downstairs and see if the food is still hot. I'll call you in a bit. Saying that, I hurried out, fearing that she would make me lose control again. Amelia watched me leave in a hurry and couldn't help but chuckle. When she finished showering, I just opened the door and walked in, took her hand and pulled her down to eat. Seeing the table full of food, my stomach couldn't hold back. Immediately, I cried out a few hungry words. I embarrassedly looked at Amelia, but she had a loving expression. Putting food in me, eat more. That way, you'll have the strength to get well soon. I could only roll my eyes. This girl is just constantly teasing me. But because I was hungry, I couldn't think much. I grabbed my chopsticks and started eating quickly. After eating, I hugged my stomach and sat down on the chair. Annoyingly patted my stomach, the feeling of fatigue and fullness made me not want to move. Gently said, Amelia, aren't you supposed to go to work today? She laughed, her voice joking. I guess you overdid it last night. I'm afraid you'll be angry, so I have to serve you well today. I looked up. Then you clean the house. I'm going upstairs to sleep. Saying that, I didn't even look back. I just walked away like that. Amelia watched me, smiling helplessly. I went to bed. Just finding a comfortable position to sleep, the phone rang again. I frowned, took out my phone to look, saw that it was my mother's call, which startled me and sat straight up. Carefully pressed the answer button, just put the phone to my ear. My mother shouted at me, "Dave, you kid. How many days have you been home, and you haven't called your mom and dad? Do you still remember us?" I hurriedly took the phone away from me, and waited for her to stop screaming before gently saying, "Mom, don't be angry. I've been too busy lately. I didn't have time to call you. I don't care. Tonight, you have to bring Amelia and your daughter home for dinner." I was stunned. Grandma has taken her to travel. She won't be back until next week. Then you have to bring Amelia home. If not, you don't even think about living peacefully with her again. Saying that, my mother hung up the phone immediately. I looked at the phone that had been hung up, sighing. My mom never listens to the end of what I say. Ever since I got married, my mom has always advised me to treat Amelia well, but every time we talk about it, we end up arguing. Back then, I didn't realize how good Amelia was, but now it's different. I will definitely treat her well. Actually, I miss home a lot too. Because I didn't want to see Amelia, I rarely went home to visit. This year, it's been a long time since I saw my parents. It's been more than 6 months this time. Thinking that I'll be going home tonight, I can't restrain the excitement in my heart. Lying in bed, I tossed and turned several times. An indescribable feeling welled up. Feeling that I wouldn't be able to sleep anyway, I decided to get up and change clothes, and visit my parents early. Then, I put on a clean and presentable outfit, and went to the study to find Amelia. At that moment, Amelia was on the phone with someone in the study. "Then let's meet tomorrow. Get me a portion of the medicine." Hearing the noise outside the study door, Amelia quickly hung up and walked towards me. I happily took her hand and said, "Hurry up, get ready. Come home with me to see my parents." Hearing this, Amelia was stunned at first. Then, her eyes widened, unable to believe what she had just heard. In fact, Amelia had only met my parents once, which was at the wedding. After that, I didn't let Amelia see my parents again. I even threatened that if she dared to go, I would divorce her. So, Amelia never saw them again. Hearing me say this, Amelia was so happy that she almost fainted. She immediately started changing clothes, getting ready, and making herself beautiful. I looked at the pile of clothes stacked on the sofa, and Amelia was still standing in front of the mirror, constantly trying on clothes. I couldn't help but say, "Amelia, you look good in anything. You don't need to keep changing." "I can't. This one seems too formal. This one's neckline is a little low. Will your parents think I'm too revealing?" All right. Stop. We're just going home for dinner. Don't act like you're attending a business conference. Just wear something casual. Something that looks young." Amelia's face immediately fell. "Are you saying I'm old?" I was startled, realizing that I had just hurt Amelia's fragile heart. I hurriedly said, "How could I say you're old, how could I? What I meant was, going home should be comfortable." Saying that, I carefully observed Amelia's expression. She looked at me suspiciously, and then went into the dressing room. Before long, Amelia came out wearing a light-colored dress, looking more gentle. Her demeanor was extremely charming. I looked at Amelia and nodded in satisfaction. That's right. It looks so comfortable. Wearing formal clothes is really too serious. After getting ready, we were finally able to leave. Amelia took me to the shopping center to buy some health supplements. She also bought my mom a full set of red lipsticks. My mom loves collecting all the colors of lipsticks from major brands, even though she can't use them all. My dad likes to play Go, so Amelia bought him the best Go set. I looked at the trunk full of stuff, feeling confused. "How did you know what my parents like?" I asked. "Because when I married you, I inquired about it. Because I wanted to marry you with peace of mind." Of course, I had to learn about your family. At that moment, my heart was filled with emotion. I always thought Amelia just wanted to find someone to marry for the sake of getting married. I didn't expect her to have secretly done so many things for me. This made me wonder even more. Where did Amelia's deep love for me begin? I thought about this, looking out the window for the whole trip without saying anything. Amelia noticed that I was lost in thought. She thought I was angry because she had investigated my family before we got married, which made me angry. We quickly arrived below my house. Amelia parked the car, took my hand, and said to me carefully with a look of apology, "I'm sorry, Dave. I didn't intentionally investigate your family. I just wanted to understand your family better. I won't do that again in the future. Don't be angry, okay?" Hearing this, I was stunned, then chuckled. "I'm not angry. I was just thinking why it's me, Vivi. Why do you love me so much?" Amelia's expression froze slightly, and then quickly returned to normal. "Because you're Dave. There's no reason. It's just because you're Dave. So, I love you." I stared blankly at Amelia, not expecting her to answer like that. Looking into Amelia's loving eyes that could make people drown, I quickly turned away, avoiding her gaze. "Let's quickly get out of the car. Mom and Dad have been waiting for a long time." Amelia lowered her head, her eyes dimming, reminding herself not to be too hasty. "Dave still doesn't completely love me. So, I have to take it slowly." I carried the large and small bags and walked in. My mom acted like she didn't see me and immediately walked towards Amelia. Taking her hand, she happily said, "Oh, Vivi. Why did you bring so many things home with you?" Saying that, she pulled Amelia to sit down on the sofa, turned her head, and changed her expression towards me. "What are you standing there for? Quickly pour Vivi some tea." I stood there dumbfounded. Whose mom is this? Amelia and my parents sat on the sofa. After a few polite greetings, my dad started asking Amelia about business matters. After all, Amelia is very capable at work. She's a sharp and decisive female CEO. And Amelia answered fluently, with a humble attitude. I had never seen her have such an attitude towards anyone. She always acted arrogant and capable in front of everyone, but I didn't expect her to treat my dad so politely. Seeing this scene, my mom pulled me into the kitchen. When we got to the kitchen, my mom asked directly, "How long are you planning to stay this time? And then leave again?" I replied, "Mom, let me tell you. Annie is already 3 years old. And you haven't fulfilled the responsibility of a father. See how good Amelia is. How thoughtful she is, how well she treats you. What else are you dissatisfied with?" Hearing these words, my ears were about to fall off. I hurriedly replied, "Okay, Mom. I get it. I'm not planning to leave this time. I'll live well with Amelia. I won't cause any more trouble." My mom looked at me in surprise. "Really? Really? The reason why you and her used to argue was because we had some misunderstandings. Now that we've cleared things up, I'll live well with her." Hopefully, that's the case. If I find out that you're not being peaceful again, I'll teach you a lesson. I know, Mom. Today, are you making sweet and sour pork for me? I haven't eaten it in a long time. My mom smiled, scolding me lovingly. All you know is how to eat. After the meal was ready, my mom called everyone to eat again. At the dining table, my mom kept putting food on Amelia's plate. Everyone chatted happily. The harmonious atmosphere made me feel very happy. After eating, I said goodbye to my parents to go home. Because Amelia had to wake up early to go to work tomorrow, we didn't stay overnight. As soon as Amelia drove the car into the garage, she received a call from Jane. The noise from the other end of the line was loud. "Vivi, Lily just came back to the country a few days ago. Do you want to get together? It's been a long time since we've seen each other." Amelia was about to refuse. But then, she thought about it. Because there were still some things that she had not settled with Jane, she agreed. Hearing that Amelia was planning to go out, I hurriedly reminded her, don't drink alcohol. Don't eat cold or spicy things. You have to take care of your stomach. Hearing me nag endlessly, Amelia lovingly said, I know. Honey. Hearing this term of endearment, I hurriedly stopped. Fortunately, it was dark in the car, so Amelia couldn't see my expression. At this time, my face was already red to my ears and was slowly spreading to my neck. I hurriedly said, take care, and quickly opened the car door and got out. Until she couldn't see me anymore, Amelia drove towards the bar. Opening the VIP room door, the inside was filled with smoke, mixed with the strong smell of alcohol. Amelia frowned slightly. Those in the room stood up to greet her when they saw her come. Vivi. Amelia walked in and sat in the main seat. Jane picked up a glass of wine and opened her mouth. Finally willing to come out of a man's arms? Amelia glanced at her. Then, she looked at Lily beside her and asked, when did you come back? Lily shook the glass of wine in her hand, glanced at her, and lazily replied, a few days ago. Amelia nodded. Are you still leaving? Lily shrugged. I don't know. We'll see later. Saying that, Lily drank the wine. The three of them had grown up in the same neighborhood since they were young. Because their families had business dealings with each other, their relationship was very good. Everything was clear to each other. Lily went to study abroad because she was dumped by my brother, Charlie Evans. Later because she was not able to put it down. Drank for several days, and then found him to restore the old feelings. The result, he had a new girlfriend. She was immediately kicked out. Amelia didn't ask any further questions. But only picked up the glass of warm water on the table. Took a sip, and then looked to ask Jian. How did you open my phone? Jian at this time was on the phone. Hearing it was not a raise. Which phone? She took my phone. Amelia did not speak. She just stared at her. Jian glanced at and had to remember what a mistake she has made. Since today is the last time she met Amelia was when she was in the hospital. She did not remember her ever touching her phone. And then she realized. Oh no. She had deleted that message. Because I was unhappy to see such a wretched scene. She deleted it out of anger. After she also regrets. But just to said. Amelia has arrived. Thus no time to say. She did not expected that she would come to settle it today. Work must be paid a price. Amelia saw her. Jian had a change in look. She knew right, she has remembered. Jian. And said in a frown. Unlock by face recognition. Just bring the phone to the front, can be opened. Aunt Wei, I really do not intend. That day I could not bear it. That man makes so terrible a face of. She cannot bear it, deleted it. Amelia nodded. And that she cannot bear for a piece of land she have to bow her head. Thus I gave it to General Director of Huaxi Tech. Jian suddenly as if struck by lightning. You can't that. No piece of land, my father will peel off the skin. Amelia shrugged. The hand. It has to do with me. Said, she put down the cup and walked to the door. Walking and said. Your play. Today is on my account. There is my husband. Unlike your dogs. The tone is a bit complacent. When Amelia was home. She looked for me. At this point, she want to hold in my arms. Never want to be away. She quickly went upstairs and opened the door of the bedroom. And I have just finished bathing. Are planning to turn the bed. Saw that it was Amelia, I surprised a little. How you came home? Amelia came forward. Took me into her arms. Sink in my arms. Smell the aroma on my body. Gently whisper, I miss you. She was so attached to me. Was willing to go to the bathroom. After bathing, she came out.